I'm currently 33 weeks pregnant with my first child. It's been a whirlwind of emotions, excitement, fear, joy, and I thought one of the constants through it all would be my family. Especially my mom and two older sisters. We've always been close. Or so I thought. A couple of weeks ago, my best friend Mia offered to throw me a baby shower. Nothing too fancy, just something small at her place with food, decorations, and some games. She coordinated the whole thing, sent invites out a month in advance, even followed up with everyone personally. I was so touched. I didn't even ask her to do it, she just said, "You deserve to be celebrated." The day of the shower came. I walked into the room and saw the decorations, the gifts, the smiling faces of Mia and a few friends from work, and not one member of my family. Not my mom. Not either of my sisters. Not even a text saying they couldn't come. I kept checking my phone, thinking maybe something had happened. An emergency? A miscommunication? I even went to the bathroom at one point and cried for 5 minutes before forcing myself to go back out and smile through the rest of the event. I didn't want to ruin the effort Mia had put into everything. That night I texted my mom. Just something simple. "Hey, you didn't come to the shower? Everything okay?" She replied the next morning. "Oh yeah. We figured it wasn't that big of a deal. You know, just a baby shower. Just a baby shower." I didn't even know what to say. I didn't respond. A few hours later, my sister Jenna called me, acting like nothing was wrong. I asked her why they didn't show up and she laughed. Said they were tired, and besides, they assumed I'd be more into a real celebration after the baby is born. I hung up. It's been over a week. They haven't reached out again. No apology. No acknowledgement. What hurts the most isn't that they missed it, it's that they didn't think it mattered. That I didn't matter. I would have been happy if they showed up with no gifts, no card, nothing but their presence. But they didn't even think that was worth the effort. And now I can't stop wondering, if they can't show up for this, how are they going to show up for my child? The days that followed were weird. Quiet, but not in a peaceful way. Just hollow. I kept going over the texts in my head, the phone call with Jenna, the way my mom said, "Just a baby shower," like it was some passing errand I guilt-tripped them about. I didn't tell Mia how I really felt until a few days later. We were out for coffee and she asked gently, "So, are you okay about the shower? You seemed off toward the end." I think I surprised both of us when I just broke down crying at the table. Not loud, just one of those silent, exhausted cries where the tears fall and you don't even try to stop them. Mia didn't say anything right away. She just reached over and held my hand. "I really thought they'd be there," I whispered. "I thought they cared." She said something I haven't stopped thinking about since. Sometimes the people we expect the most from show up the least. And sometimes the ones we didn't expect at all become our real support system. That hit me hard. Because the truth is, Mia has done more for me during this pregnancy than my own family has. She drove me to doctor's appointments when my car broke down. She helped me set up the nursery. She checks in on me daily just to see how I'm feeling. She made me feel celebrated even when the people I loved most couldn't be bothered. After that, I decided to stop chasing after an apology that clearly wasn't coming. I didn't block anyone. I didn't start a family group text war. I just stepped back. Jenna did eventually send me a message. Just a meme. No context. No, "How are you?" No, "Sorry we weren't there." I didn't reply. My other sister, Lily, liked one of my bump photos on Instagram with a heart emoji. Cool. Still didn't say a word about the baby shower. And my mom? She hasn't said a thing since that one text. Radio silence. I'm learning now that blood doesn't guarantee presence. It doesn't guarantee empathy or effort or love in the way you need it. And maybe that realization is painful, but it's also freeing. I'm still hurt. I won't lie. But I'm also proud of myself. For standing in that room full of love, even when the people I expected weren't there. For choosing to stay soft instead of bitter. For realizing I deserve better than bare minimum relationships. And for the first time in weeks, I actually feel excited about meeting my baby. Because I know I'm going to give them the kind of love I always wished I had in moments like this. 2 weeks later, I got a call from my mom. I almost didn't answer. The name flashing on my screen made my stomach twist, but something in me said just pick up. "Hey," she said, her voice casual, like nothing happened. "How's everything going?" I paused before answering. "Fine." There was this long, awkward silence. Then she said, "I was thinking we could come over this weekend. Me and the girls. Bring you a few things for the baby." I took a breath. Not deep, not dramatic, just enough to keep myself grounded. "I don't think I want that," I said. She sounded confused, maybe even a little offended. "What do you mean?" I chose my words carefully. You didn't come to my baby shower. You didn't check in. You didn't even ask how it went. And now, weeks later, you want to drop by with stuff? That doesn't fix anything." Her tone shifted fast, defensive, sharp. "We didn't mean to hurt you. We just didn't think it was a big event. You're being overly sensitive about this." There it was. That word. Sensitive. Always the fallback when I try to express a boundary. I told her calmly, "I'm not being sensitive. I'm being honest. It mattered to me and you all made me feel like it didn't. I'm not interested in pretending it's okay just because some baby clothes are involved." She sighed. "So what? You're cutting us out now." "No," I said. "I'm protecting my peace." And then I ended the call. I cried after. Not because I regretted it, but because standing up for myself hurts in its own way. There's grief in realizing your family might never be who you hoped they'd become. But you know what else happened that week? Mia texted me totally unprompted and said, "I made you a little postpartum basket. Just snacks, comfy stuff, and things I wish someone gave me when I had my first. Want to grab lunch?" I almost laughed. It was like the universe was reminding me, this is what showing up looks like. I've started letting go. Not out of bitterness but out of clarity. I'm focusing on the people who are present, who love me without conditions or calendar reminders. And when my baby arrives, I want them to grow up surrounded by that kind of energy. Not people who show up when it's convenient, but people who show up because they. I'm 38 weeks and every little cramp or backache sends me into a silent, "Is this it?" moment. The nursery is ready. The hospital bag is packed. I've washed the baby clothes twice, folded them perfectly, and then unfolded them just to feel them again. Mia checks in every morning. "Still pregnant?" she jokes. She offered to be on call in case I go into labor before my partner gets home from work. She's not just my best friend anymore, she's become my anchor. I haven't spoken to my mom or sisters since that phone call. No one's asked how I'm doing. No one's checked in. I thought maybe as the due date got closer something would shift. A text, a call, anything. But silence can be loud when it's coming from people who are supposed to care. Last weekend, Mia threw me a surprise, last hurrah brunch. Just a few people. Nothing fancy. We sat in her backyard under some string lights, drinking mocktails and laughing about all the things I'm not ready for. Diapers, sleep deprivation, tiny fingernails. It was simple, beautiful, and full of warmth. And I realized, I haven't felt that with my family in a long time. A few nights ago, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. From Lily, my quietest sister. She wrote, "I'm sorry. I didn't know how much it meant to you and I didn't try hard enough to understand. I followed everyone else's lead because I didn't want to make waves. But I've been thinking about it and you didn't deserve that. You deserved a celebration. You deserved us. And I let you down. I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I just needed you to know I regret it." I read it twice. Then 3 more times. I cried, again. Not because it fixed everything but because it was the first real acknowledgement from anyone in my family. I haven't responded yet. I'm still sitting with it. But it cracked something open in me that had gone numb. Maybe some people are trying. Quietly, slowly. I don't know if things will ever go back to how they were. Maybe they shouldn't. Right now, I'm focusing on the people who have been here. And on the tiny human I'm about to meet, who has no idea how complicated the world is, but who will never question how deeply they are loved. I went into labor at 3:47 a.m. It started with a low, steady ache in my back that refused to fade. Then the tightening began, rhythmic and deep, and I just knew. I woke my partner, called Mia, and within an hour, we were driving through empty streets toward the hospital, the world quiet except for my breathing and his whispered reassurances. Labor was long. Nearly 19 hours. There were moments I felt like I was floating and others where I thought I couldn't keep going. But then, just after sunset, everything shifted. I heard that first cry, raw, fierce, tiny and enormous all at once, and my whole body let go. A daughter. They placed her on my chest and I swear I felt my heart expand in real time. She was perfect. Warm, wrinkled, wide-eyed. Nothing else mattered in that moment. Not the silence. Not the absence. Just her. We named her Isla. Mia was the first to visit. She brought flowers, snacks, a Polaroid of the brunch party, and a handmade card that said, "You did it. She's here. You're already the mother she needs." She stayed for only 30 minutes but made sure I had everything within reach before she left. My mom still hadn't reached out. Neither had Jenna. But Lily texted that evening. "I saw your post. She's beautiful. I'm proud of you." I stared at the message for a long time before replying. "Thank you. I got your letter. I appreciate it. I'm still processing a lot. But I hear you. That was it. No flood of messages. No apologies wrapped in guilt or obligation. Just something small, sincere. And it felt okay. 2 days later, when we got home, a package was sitting on our doorstep. No name. Just a baby blanket, hand-knit in pale lavender, and a note tucked inside that said, "Congratulations. When you're ready, I'd love to meet her." Mom. I didn't cry this time. I just stood there, staring at the handwriting I've known my whole life. And then I folded the note and placed it in Isla's memory box. I still don't know what comes next with my family. I'm not rushing to fix things. I'm not handing out forgiveness like party favors. But I'm also not holding on to the anger with clenched fists anymore. There's too much life to hold now. Too much beauty. I look at Isla's face and I think, she deserves a mom who knows her own worth. Who protects her peace. Who teaches her that love isn't proven by blood, but by presence. And that's the woman I'm becoming, one breath, one boundary, one baby blanket at a time. Isla turned one last weekend. We threw her a backyard party. Nothing over the top, just close friends, cupcakes, finger foods, and a bubble machine that had all the toddlers screaming with joy. She wore a little sunflower dress and smeared frosting all over her face. I must have taken 100 pictures, but there's one I keep looking at. Me holding her on my hip, both of us laughing like we were the only two people in the world. So much has changed in a year. I still haven't fully let my family back in. But Lily's been trying, quietly and consistently. She came to the party. She brought Isla a wooden puzzle and a handwritten birthday card that made me tear up after everyone had left. She didn't overstep. She didn't bring drama. She just showed up, exactly what I needed, what Isla deserved. Jenna didn't come. No message, no explanation. I'm not surprised anymore and I don't take it personally, I just accept it for what it is. And my mom? She showed up too. Late. Quiet. Nervous. She stood at the edge of the yard, holding a small box, until Mia noticed and gently nudged me. I walked over with Isla in my arms. My mom looked at her, then at me and whispered, "She's beautiful." I nodded. She is. She didn't stay long. Just handed me the box. Inside was a tiny locket engraved with Isla's initials, and said, "I know I missed a lot, but I'd like to try if you'll let me." And honestly, I didn't have an answer. Not right away. But I said, trying is a start. Let's see what that looks like. No dramatic reunion. No promises. Just a small, honest moment in a backyard filled with bubbles and baby giggles. Later, after everyone left, I sat with Isla while she napped on my chest. The same chest where she was first laid exactly 1 year ago. I thought about the woman I was then, tired, hurt, hopeful, and the one I've become now. I've learned that healing doesn't always look like forgiveness. Sometimes it just looks like peace. And peace, I've found, doesn't always need a full family. Sometimes it just needs the right people. And right now that's more than enough. It's been 6 months since Isla's birthday, and life has settled into a rhythm I never expected but when we do, it's honest, tentative, careful. Like two people walking across a frozen pond, unsure of where it might crack. And yet, we keep walking. Slowly. She's met Isla 3 times since the party. Once for a walk in the park. Once at Lily's for a quiet dinner. And once, just the two of us sitting in my living room watching Isla play with wooden blocks like they were made of gold. She doesn't ask for more than I'm willing to give. She never pretends the baby shower didn't happen. But she also hasn't apologized again. And that used to really bother me, until I realized I didn't need more apologies. I needed changed behavior. Consistency. Presence. And she's trying. In her own awkward, imperfect way. Lily and I? We're closer now than we've ever been. We text almost every day. She picks Isla up little trinkets from wherever she travels, always with a sweet note. Last month, she even babysat so I could take myself out to dinner, alone. Candlelight, book, glass of wine. I almost cried from the silence. Jenna still hasn't reached out. Not even for Christmas or Isla's half-birthday, which Mia thought was a hilarious excuse for cake. And you know what? That silence doesn't sting anymore. It's just her choice. And mine is to stop waiting for people to become someone they've never shown interest in being. Mia is still here, of course. She's Isla's godmother now. We didn't make a big ceremony out of it, just a quiet declaration over coffee, sealed with a hug and a promise. She was honored. I already loved her like my own, she said. And I believe her. Some nights, after Isla goes to bed, I sit with all of it. The pieces. The ache. The unexpected beauty. The people who stayed. The ones who didn't. And I feel this strange, layered peace. Not perfect, not tied with a bow, but real. I used to think family was about obligation. Now I know it's about showing up, again and again, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's late, even when the path back is long and messy and filled with silence. Isla's growing fast. She says mama now and mine, and loves to throw things just to see what happens. I catch glimpses of the little girl she's becoming, and every day, I feel more grounded in the mother I'm learning to be. Not perfect, not always calm, but present, loving, awake. And that, I think, is enough. Isla started preschool last month. I cried in the car after dropping her off on the first day. She didn't cry, just wobbled in with her too big backpack and waved without even looking back. Brave, bright, and entirely herself. It's wild watching her become her own little person. She's curious about everything, asks why the moon follows our car at night, why birds don't wear shoes, why people get sad. The other night, out of nowhere, she asked, "Mama, where's your mama?" I froze for a second. Then I smiled. "She lives in a different house, baby." "Do you miss her?" she asked. I didn't know how to answer that. I said, "Sometimes. But some people love from a little farther away." That seemed to make sense to her. She nodded and went back to coloring. But the question stayed with me. My mom still reaches out now and then. She sends Isla birthday cards and little gifts, but she doesn't visit much. We're not estranged anymore, we're just distant. And maybe that's all we can be. Maybe that's okay. Lily, on the other hand, is like a steady heartbeat in our lives. She came to Isla's first school recital and cried harder than I did. She calls herself Auntie Lils, and Isla lights up whenever she sees her. That relationship, unexpected and healing, has become one of, and I trust the lessons she's teaching me as much as the ones I'm teaching her. Family isn't always what we expect, but it's what we make of it. And what I've made is a home filled with laughter, support, and the kind of love that sticks no matter how messy it gets. That's enough for me. That's everything.